Yo, what's happening everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We got another video for you here. Oh, there's something I've just seen here. Is this all the secret? Okay. Um yeah, we're gonna look at the new set which I just had a pre-release of on the weekend, Paradox Rift. Already I can probably say, and I think you probably know this as well, this is gonna be I would say the most impactful set that we've probably seen maybe since Brilliant Stars, possibly. Was Brilliant Stars where we had Arceus? I think it might have been. Let's have a look here. Brilliant Stars. Does that work? Okay. Yeah. So I think Brilliant Star. What the? I don't know if that really works. I could just go Arceus V Star. What's that? That's a promo, dude. Brilliant Stars, yeah, Brilliant Stars. So I believe that was also the same set that Palkia V Star came out. Massive, massive set. Obviously, Arceus goes on to win a World Championships and is still a powerful deck after that. So this is probably one of the biggest, most impacting sets since then. I suppose you could argue Lost Origin. Anyway, let's not get too sidetracked. The point is, big new set. Definitely, I think the biggest new set of Scarlet Violet. Yeah, with that being said, we should just move on and smash through these cards. I probably won't spend too long on every single card. The ones that are good, we'll spend some time on. So I'm not going to go straight into these now. The thing that's been really interesting about this set as well is that we actually didn't get. I actually have this one. I pulled this version of Roaring Moon. We didn't get the full set beforehand. Whereas before we would usually get the full set beforehand. Oh, that's an interesting little bit of information. We'll go back to that in a sec. For this one, we didn't, and it's come with its positives and its negatives. But I think I don't know. Actually, I say positive and negatives. I don't know what the negatives. The negatives are that we don't know all the great decks out of Japan. But is that not positive? Because that means that we're all sort of in the same position, trying to create the best deck simultaneously. I think that's actually a positive. One of the cool things to note about this set, it's being featured and mentioned here on Poke Beach, is that the Rev Hollows don't have the irritating pattern on them. This is actually the Rev Hollow for Scream Tail, and then that's an ancient. And here's the future. This is a Rev Hollow Churros scenario. Also doesn't have the irritating pattern on it, so they're better Rev Hollows overall, much better. Rev Hollows still suck, but still better. And before we go any further, do leave a comment and like and subscribe to the video. Do share it around with your friends as well. And we'll get into it. So we have a new Masquerain. I don't think there's ever been a good Masquerain. Flip a coin to get tail, shuffle, yeah, okay, so this is still not a very good Masquerain. We don't have to go too long into this. Froslass EX. Now, Froslass EX is our first EX to look at here, and you'll notice it is a grass type, not ice type. This is because the new Terra Pokemon, they have gone for the type change, which I believe is a mechanic of Scarlet Violet. Still is not able to be damaged on the bench, so not going to be worried too much about losing Manaphy when the day comes for rotation. Ability, when this Pokemon is in the active spot and is knocked out, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent takes one less prize card. Okay, cool. So a 250 HP single prizer is very good. A 250 HP two prizer is not so good. I like the fact that it does have bench and bench protection, and it has an irritating ability. Can be hit with Power to the Peak. 2 water energy, so the energy cost is still relevant to the original type. So of course, Froslass being ice type comes under water type for Pokemon. TCG, so water energy for the attack. 140 damage. This attack does 20 damage on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Not really hitting the numbers, in my opinion. Yeah, probably just gonna be going into the bulk folder. All right, we got the triple threat monkeys here. Now they all have the same ability. All of these basics also do call for family, I believe, and it's useful because the ability is that if you have the other two monkeys in play, the colorless cost of the attack is gone. So this Pokemon, for instance, will do 100 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from a Pokemon that have an ability, except Simisage. So yeah, we can go into the other. Do you know what? If I just search Simi, Simi. So we've got Simisage. Yeah. Simisear here. So Simisear for 1 energy, if you've got the other two in play, will do 190 damage and does 30 itself. Yep. And here's the Paw, the water one. For 1 water energy, will do 50 damage and also 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. There is not a lot of potential in this triple threat, although it could be a fun little meme deck. I can see it irritating probably anyone that comes up against. You could lock people out with the Simisage, you can blow people up with the Simi Fire, whichever one that was called, I can't remember the name of it, and then of course Simi Paw, spreading damage if they don't have Manaphy in play. That could sweep a Lost Box deck, but if you're playing Lost Box, you're probably playing Manaphy. Anyway, yeah, I don't think it's that good. It's sort of cute. It's sort of like if you remember the scan when the scan for the Reggies came out and people were like, oh, I don't know about that. That seems a bit cute. This time it really is just cute. I don't think that actually is a viable strategy. Crustle with the big 100, not very good. We'll just move on. Okay, so you'll see that we've got the Bound Suite and there's Stina. Serena is in this set, but it is an EX and it does change its color, so it's not going to see it yet. Orbital. 30 damage times the amount of energy in your opponent's discard pile. Generally not good to go for attacks that your opponent can really like manage. Okay, we've got some Nimbles. Now I believe they evolve into Lokix. Is it Lokix? And I don't think there's there's no grass one. There's probably a different type. Toad's cool. Okay, so we've got 2 new Toad schools. If you're a Toad Scroll player. I believe the second one is the most optimal. It's got 60 HP and only 1 retreat cost. The attacks aren't great, but extra 10 HP. Can't go wrong, although the Spore one's pretty good as well. The Toad Scroll that goes with it is pretty irritating. Cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into the hand through the effect of trainer cards or abilities. Now, again, coming against a Lost Box, maybe you can stop the Clara. I literally cannot think of many. Oh, Shenpao, of course. Stops it. It actually completely breaks Shenpao because the superior energy retrieval just gets completely locked out. It can't do anything. Other than that, not very useful. Now we do have a Wo-Chien. Wo-Chien is not doing a lot. Doesn't really look like it's going to do an awful lot of GLC. I suppose if you've got the Venusaur, in play, you've got double grass energy going on. You've got 140 damage for 2, and then during opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks cost 2 more, but the effect is on the Pokemon that's being attacked by Wo-Chien, so you could just retreat out of it. Yeah, not too impactful. The Magby. So we actually have 3 babies in this set. We've got the Magby, Elekid, and it may only be 2, and I might be talking out my bumhole. We have at least 2 though. Elekid and Magby. So Magby, during opponent's next turn, if Magby is damaged, put 6 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. That's kind of cool. I could see that potentially working. There's no baby rule here. It can't evolve. I feel like overall they sort of like did babies dirty in the TCG. There was a time in like Ruby Sapphire sort of era where the baby Pokemon had a Poke Power and they could kind of evolve. They could actually do it turn 1 as well, which is pretty busted. They could evolve out of being a baby, so like Wynot could evolve into Wobbuffet. And for some of them, if they actually evolved, it actually made the Pokemon more powerful as well, which is also really good. Here is our second monkey. We've already looked at. It got Volcanion. 20 damage. Choose up to 2 of your bench Pokemon. Attach 1 basic energy card from your discard piles of each of them. Yeah, this isn't very good. We'll just move on. For Koko, excuse me, and Crocalor. I like the sombrero. Por favor. There is Skeledirge, but is metal type, so we'll get to that later. Okay. Charcadet. Got 2 Charcadets here. And here's our next EX. It's Armarouge EX. Armoru GX, when it has full HP, the ability, it takes 80 less damage from your opponent's attack. So is there a potential to wall behind this? 340 HP to knock it out. It's got a really unfortunate weakness as well. It's weak to Shenpao, which is big, big, big. Now the attack is exactly the same as one of my favorite. I can't spell it. One of my favorite VMAX is Center Scorch VMAX, 40 plus 40 for each fire energy. Apart from, I've just remembered, and I completely forgot, this Center Scorch VMAX actually also attaches energy from the discard pile to it. So I was thinking about this this morning while driving to work, thinking, well, it's not great, but it's really similar to Senate Scorch, which is kind of cool. But no, it's nowhere near as good. Not only do we not have Welder, we also are not going to be able to accelerate energy of use of the attack onto Armor Rouge, excuse me. Yeah, this kind of sucks. It feels like a Pokemon that the Pokemon Company would want to make good, but they've just failed. They failed every time. Iron Moth is our future Pokemon here, and it is I can't even remember now not Venomoth, Jesus Christ. I can't even remember the name of the Pokemon that this is formulated from. Once you're in your turn, you may move. Once you're in turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of fire energy from your other Pokemon to it. So very much the same as Heatran GX was. Except the attack isn't quite as good. 120 damage for 3, and then it can't attack next turn. It's not really going to have a place. I don't think it's going to have a place even in Gym Leader Challenge. This is what is this one? Chi-Yu. So this is one of those, another one of the Shenpao and the Wo-Shen and the Chi-Yus. I don't know what you call those Pokemon. They're not legendary. I don't think they're kind of different. You'd 1 fire energy, attach up to 2 basic fire from your discard to one of your Pokemon. Pretty good. Shame it's an attack. It's kind of hard to work with attacks that accelerate energy. Mega Fire of Envy. Now that is a great attack name. 50 plus. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from attack your opponent's turn, this has okay, cool. So this is a revenge attack, but this one's for 140. So that's actually quite good. That's pretty high numbers. That's good numbers. It's good numbers for GLC. It's gonna be knocking out most things. If you've got the Pogo Charizard, the Pokemon Go Charizard that is in play, that's 1 fire energy as well. Pretty cool. We're gonna look now to Kingdra. Kingdras are always a bit hit and miss, aren't they? Reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. This attack does 60 damage to 1 of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy you find there. Then discard those energy cards and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So it has the potential to hit for 360 damage. Is it ever going to hit for 360 damage? If you do you have any more cards in your deck? Or is this like a Kyogre sort of thing? In every single way, it's not as good as Celebration's Kyogre. That's just the way it is, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but it's going to go in the bin. We've got a Remoraid and an Octillery, and the Octillery has some really cool artwork here. I am a fan of this. Once during your turn, when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may draw 3 cards. So evolve it to Octillery, draw 3. Unfortunately, there's not a lot in the format right now that picks Pokemon up. We are getting a new, whatever the future professor pretty much does that, just picks up your Pokemon or cards attached. It's a bit of a waste of a sportive turn. If we had Scoop Up Net, maybe this would be better, but even so, I don't think it would be even that good. 2 energy 60. During your opponent's next turn, if any Pokemon tries to attack, your opponent flips coin. If tails, that attack fails. Yeah, it's not very good. It's not very good. Milotic, when you play this Pokemon hand, you may use this ability. Each player puts a basic Pokemon from the discard pile onto their bench. Okay, it's kind of like an Echo Horn, but not as good. I can't see that getting much use, to be honest. We'll probably just move on and sack that off. We've got a Snorunt. Oh, this evolves into the Frostlass, doesn't it? Okay, yeah, we lit the Frostlass. So we've got Garchomp EX. Now, Garchomp EX had the hype train when it was first released and shown. It is Terra. It is Water. good type to have. We've got Irida to search it, but all of its attacks, well, it requires fighting. So the first attack here, 1 fighting energy, 160 damage. Seems like a lot for a fighting energy. Can two-shot most things, but not a Charizard EX. Attach up to 3 fighting energy from your disc pile to your bench Pokemon any way you like. Let's have a look at the second attack. Sonic Dive, excuse me. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage to 1 of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay, so I'm seeing here the first attack being very reminiscent of Blaziken VMAX. Like I'm going to type that correctly. Oh my god. So Blaziken VMAX is max Blaze, choose 2 of your bench to Rapid Strike Pokemon attaching energy from your discard pile to each of them. Similar idea, this is 3 and it's fighting energy. Whereas Blaziken you could literally attach Rapid Strike energies, which is really cool. The second attack is very reminiscent of Garchomp level X. Nope, you can't find it like that. Okay. Garchomp, there he is. Garchomp C. Now, oh, this is the celebration version. Oh, do you have the original one? Yeah, promo one. That's the original one. Oh, the promo one's so ugly, isn't it? Okay, so this was a very oppressive card. When it was out, it was huge. It won Worlds. Big luck trump card. 3 energy, discard 2, and you can snipe or hit the opponent for 80. So at the time, 80, damage buff or damage whatever. So you can see it's quite similar. 2 energy, 120. You can take out Bibarel if you got 2 energy on it, but this is difficult. This is one of those cards that when you read it, you sort of go, "Whoa, that seems really good. That's kind of scary. How can I get away with that?" But it's sort of the old inner vacuum mentality. It's still weak to lightning. Lightning is just one, the last regional, Toronto regional, last regional of the format before this card comes out. People are still going to pick up Miraidon, even though there are new Pokemon to pick up. So I'm actually pretty bearish on this card at the moment. I just don't see anything it works that well with. Now, maybe there's some stuff with Path, and you can search for the Irida. Yeah, I'm happy to be proven wrong. Definitely happy to be proven wrong. It's got free retreat as well, which is really good. But yeah, that's the Garchomp. We're going to move on here. This is the other baby Pokemon, which I didn't think about. Jesus Christ. Mantike. Heal 120 damage from one of your bench Pokemon. Now that's, that's a lot of damage to be healing for 0 energy. Of course, it itself has free retreat, has 30 HP. It's fun. It's cute. It's cute. So we've got 2 babies. I think there's one more. Palkia. Yeah, if you're losing 160 damage, but you shouldn't be losing. There's the monkey. Okay, we've got the Vanilluxe. Now, it's good that these two are actually next to each other, Vanilluxe and Serena EX, because they have a synergy. Serena EX is Terra type, it's water, it still requires grass. 310 HP, not terrible, pretty good. In fact, it's very good, like 310 to 330 is sort of the stage 2 EX era, so it's sort of the bottom end. Is there a Pawmort with 300? Pawmort? Yeah, Pawmort EX is 300, so that's the lowest, I think, of any EX stage 2. Anyway, 1 grass energy, Icicle Soul. Put damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon until its remaining HP is 30. Now, that could be pretty busted. It sounds pretty busted. It's actually, it's okay. But yeah, when you combine that with Vanilluxe, your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP or less remaining can't attack. Okay, back it up. Put damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon until they have 30 HP remaining. They cannot attack. If you do that successfully to every attacking Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field, you basically just win the game. The problem is there's loads of ways around it. So one way you can think is if you're, say, playing its Mew VMAX, you don't evolve the Mews into Mew VMAXs, other Mew Vs into Mew VMAXs until you want to actually attack. You can set yourself up into positions where you can just keep trying to boss knock out the Vanilluxe, so it doesn't matter so much, and then take the Serena EX later. That's the problem. But do you know what? I could see if you had a deck that had the rare candy already in, and things like that, and the Gardevoir matchup bothered you, is there a place for playing a 1/0/1 Vanillux just so your opponent can't really utilize Gardevoir? It's niche, but I mean, it's the best you're going to get. Alright, we got the Gliscor. Now, this was, for me, one of the MVPs for the pre-release. 20 damage times the amount of cards in your opponent's hand for 1 energy. Played well in the pre-release. Could be good in GLC. Maybe a different type of water deck, an aggro water deck. But we also got Gliscor EX. Spoiler alert, it's not very good. 270 HP for a stage 1. It's actually pretty good. It is not terrestrialized, unfortunately, so it can be hit on the bench. 2 colorless energy, 70 damage. Nothing much to write home about there. 1 water, 2 colorless, swing and skedaddle. 170, discard 1 energy from this Pokemon. If you do, switch this Pokemon, one of your bench Pokemon. Yeah, even if it did 170 and switched out without the discard, I think it would only be okay. We got the Wiglets and the Wugtrio. So the Wugtrio here, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon tool cards and put them into your hand. Yeah, it's just not worth putting a 90 HP Pokemon like this in play for that ability. You do have a 60 HP Wiglet, which is nice. 70 HP is obviously better, but 60 is better than 50. You can level ball for this, so you could potentially be saying level ball for 3 tool cards if you ran a deck that was very tool heavy. Maybe you got the 151 Electrode, or you just want to get those Bravery Charms into play, things like that. Yeah, so there is opportunity to make the Wugtrio work, but I think overall it's just not that good. It's not worth it. Veluza. Veluza's a weird one. I don't know much about this Pokemon. Looking at that, I don't really care to know too much about this Pokemon. If this Pokemon is in the attack support and is knocked out with damage from attacks of your opponent's Pokemon, move 2 water from this Pokemon to one of your bench. So, yeah, this is really good, again, for GLC. Could this work with Baxcalibur? The attack is 60 plus 20 for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. I feel like if this was 60 plus 30, same sort of maths, or even if it was 30 plus 30, like a watered down, honey pun, version of Seeking from 151, you could probably have some fun with this in standard, but as it stands, you can't. We're gonna have to accept that this is probably going to be a GLC deck, a Pokemon, I should say. It is definitely very good in GLC. It can power up your bench Pokemon after it's done knocking things out. Yeah, I would definitely consider it my water deck for sure. We've got Dondozo here, 1 energy. If you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose any number of basic energy cards you find, then put them in and attach them to this Pokemon. And of course, he takes 5 energy to do 180 damage. This is troll. That card is a troll. Let's just move on. Iron Bundle. So Iron Bundle is not as good as it sounds on paper. The ability, kind of similar to the Tornadus. Tornadus. This one right here. From Brilliant Stars, when you put into this one is when you put it into play, your opponent switches their Pokemon. Iron Bundle is you have him in play and you just yeet him to the discard pile, which I think is better in every way. Yeah, and your opponent has to switch their actives. 80 damage if the defending Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, it can't attack. So sounds quite good, but unfortunately that only affects the opponent's current Pokemon. So as soon as you knock that out, it's gone, you're no good. Yeah, it's one of those that seems like, oh, I can just lock an opponent out of attacking, but you can't. You can't. There's a lot of ways around it. We've got a Shenpao that's not an EX. Attachment to basic water. It's not very good. We don't need to talk about it. Okay, Mewtwo EX. So this card, I saw people sort of trying their best to really come up with an excuse as to why this card is okay, but it's not. It's absolute pile of dog. Dog doo-doo, of course. It is Terrara, so it cannot be hurt on the bench. It makes it lightning type, still requires psychic energy, so you can't use Gardevoir EX before you even think about it. Trans charge, yep. LGBT charge there. Attach 2 basic psychic from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, to your Pokemon any way you like. Okay. 10 plus 30 for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. It's just not that much damage. Not anymore. You know, I have a Lapras in my GLC deck that does the same amount of numbers. Where is it? Where's that Lapras? There. This Lapras from Team Up. What year is that? This came out 2019, right? It is a single prizer. It does the same for one colorless energy. Oh, it only does it to itself, but the numbers are the same. I just don't think this is hitting enough numbers really to be relevant. 230 HP basic though. It's tanky, sure. It's really not. It's weird to see a Mewtwo weak to fighting, though. That's definitely quite weird. Here's our third baby Pokemon, Elekid. For free, attack one of your opponent's Pokemon for 30. So, nice potentially to attack an opponent's active water Pokemon for 60 damage for free on the weakness. Can chip a little bonus hit there. But yeah, overall, these babies are not that good. They're just not that good. Okay, we've got +1 Minnow. So Minimum's ability, if you have +1 play, whenever your opponent attaches an energy from their hand to one of your Pokemon, 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So that's very similar to the Radiant Charabug. If you can remember that one, probably the weakest Radiant. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so the Plusle really takes advantage of the ability. 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage count on your opponent's active Pokemon. So off the top of my head now, I'm thinking if you could have +1 Minun in GLC, you could run it with... Where is he? Where's the Badger? This Badger here. Flying Flip Tapu Koko. Flying Flip Tapu Koko hits all of your opponent's Pokemon for 20 damage. So you could be looking at a Spread Lightning GLC deck there, but emphasis on the GLC. Zebstrika. Yeah, no, skip. Joltik, Galvantula. Yeah, skip. We usually skip them. Alright, Zekrom. 130 damage, 40 to one of your bench. Yeah, see again, we've had Zekrom. Like, this is an old Zekrom. So Vivid Voltage Zekrom did 130 for 3. This one did 130. What the heck? Oh, this is the original, and it's been reprinted, hasn't it? If we go back. Oh no, the original one did 120 and 40 to itself. But this is a very long time ago. And it got, oh my god, it got a lot of reprints, didn't it? Jesus. And then it got a buff of 10 damage. 10 damage buff. But yeah, this is not cutting the mustard anymore. It should be doing more damage for that, really, if it wants to stick to the idea of being a strong, powerful Zekrom. Maybe 140, 150 damage, but 130 is no good. A Lightning or a Choreo. So this actually confused me when I first saw it, but cool. It doesn't do a lot. So let's just move on. Now, Tapu Koko EX has been talked about as a potential add for Miraidon. So let's talk about this. Revenge Shock, 30 damage. If any of your Pokemon knocked out during your opponent's last turn, it does 120. I think we've already seen a Pokemon do more than that for Revenge. I can't remember which one it was. It was further up, but 120. You're never really going to be doing just that on its own. 120. Raikou could hit for 200. That's 320. You're starting to knock stuff out. Still not knocking out the Charizard, unfortunately. Second attack, 108 damage. Just got 1 energy from this Pokemon for 3 energy. Your Miraidon is hitting a lot harder than that. 220, 230 with a Zapdos in play. It has a retreat. If it had free retreat, I could see us talking about it a bit more. But as it stands, it's just not doing enough. There's a Toxel, there's a Toxtricity, but it is not Lightning type. Okay, Iron Hands EX. Here we go. So this is a future Pokemon. So it's going to be able to take advantage of the future trainers and supporters that are going to support these future Pokemon. This is probably one of the most versatile cards in the set, in that it doesn't really have a home, although on paper it's very good. First attack, not much to talk about. Double Lightning, colorless, 160. Second attack, this is what we were here to talk about. 1 Lightning, 3 colorless, 120 damage. If your opponent is knocked out by damage from this attack, you take an extra prize card. Taking extra prize cards in the Pokemon TCG has never been bad. ADP, pretty good. I'm struggling to think of other ones because it doesn't come up that often, but taking extra prize cards tends to be seen as a positive. Now we do have is it the Chansey for 151? Yeah, this thing here. If you look at the take one extra point. No, so this is an example of a bad one. We had Jirachi Prism as well, allowed you to take more prize cards. But yeah, this is obviously going to be a big gatekeeper for people who want to play single prizes, especially basic single prizes, particularly Lost Box. That's what we're talking about. Basically, pretty much every card in the deck gets yeeted in one hit with the Amp You Very Much attack. Downsides, it does have 4 retreat cost. Needing 4 energy to use Amp You Very Much is annoying. People are talking about putting it in Miraidon. I don't know about that. People want to put it in Lugia. I don't know about that. It's difficult because you can't. If you're going to put it in Lugia, you have to run basic lightning energy, and that's just irritating. I do think the best place for this is actually with Baxcalibur. It becomes a different deck at that point. You're talking Baxcalibur, Iron Hands, Shenpao, obviously, but actually also Dragonite V at that point. I'm sure you know Dragonite V, but we're going to have a look at it anyway. Why would that come up? That's not it. Where are you? There, Dragonite V. So double water energy, 1 lightning, Dragon Gale for 250. Just slapping 250 is always going to be pretty good. So I could see Dragonite V, Iron Hands, Shenpao, just big stuff. Got a lot of options. If you can get the Baxcalibur into play, you've got 3 different big basic attackers there, able to do stuff, which is nice. But overall, I think the initial knee-jerk reaction of Iron Hands has probably been a bit over the top. Time will tell, of course. Let's move on. So Zatu's interesting. Clairvoyant Sense is the same ability as Shadow Rider VMAX. Attach a basic icon from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, draw 2. The attack is not as good as Shadow Rider's, obviously. The HP is not as good. It is a stage 1 with 100 HP. The basic has 50. It is glass. It's very weak. But you could synergize it with Mewtwo. Would you, though? Probably not. You're almost better off synergizing it with this Latios. 3 energy, 180 damage. Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. Jesus. So, costly. Latios has a habit of doing things like this, right? Being quite costly. Deoxys. Yeah, it's just not very good. Let's move on. Okay, Cofagrigus EX. Now, I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this, and I think it surprises me. I actually think that this card is one of the more underappreciated cards from the set. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is cool! This is cool." So, ability Gold Coffin. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So, it it's kind of like Raw, able to set itself up and help itself out. 2 psychic energy, 110 damage. Put 5 damage counters on your opponent's benched Pokemon in any way you like. So you're accumulating 160 damage. It's not the highest damage that we've seen. 260 HP on stage 1. It's kind of mid as well. I can see why people have been overlooking it. It's weak to dark, which isn't great. We will see that soon, although the numbers are a bit funky. But Cofagrigus EX, the fact that it places counters on the bench is really good as well, because it's going to force your opponent to either eat that up, or they have to play Jirachi, and Jirachi is going to be in this set here. What could you play this Pokemon with? I don't know. I just think that the idea of it as it is, it can set itself up, or it can set up more. You've got that quick search ability. Hitting the opponent's active for 110. 110 is not a huge amount, but also being able to pick off your opponent's bench. I think there's something here with Cofagrigus EX, and I think it's being quite unfairly overlooked. Anyway, let's move on here. We've got Punkaboo. Punkaboo does actually evolve. Gourgeist. If this Pokemon not type damage, discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand. That could be super annoying as well. See, there's some annoying stuff here. When you start playing things like this with a control build, you're talking about Iono, grab, maybe like Judge to 4, grab us some Pokemon out of the hand, and then if you're gonna knock me out, okay, you've got no hand, things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not much of a control player. It's interesting. It's nice to have interesting cards. Espalthra is really good in the pre-release, but that's it. We've got a new Tinkaton. 30 damage for 1 energy, discard an energy for its packed Pokemon. If this Pokemon has any metal energy attached, it does 180. So you're basically saying it needs to have a psychic and a metal energy in order to do 180 damage. It's okay. It's okay. It's probably never going to play. Screamtail. Now, Screamtail's interesting because it's one of those on paper seems really good, and then other people say it's actually not that good. Roaring Scream. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each damage count on that Pokemon. So, on this Pokemon, excuse me. Now, straight away, Gardevoir. Get 4 energies onto this. It's got 80 damage on it. That's 160 damage to anywhere on the board. It seems okay. Add a Bravery Charm. That's another 50 HP, isn't it? In fact, there is another tool for the Ancients that give them plus 60 HP. So he's now on 150. You can get 7 energies on there. That's 140 damage to anywhere on the board. Is it worth it to go 140 anywhere on the board? I think I've done the maths for that right. Who knows? Maybe not. Who cares? Anyway, yeah, it seems okay. I'm not really a Gardevoir player, but it seems like this could be a potential tech in Gardevoir. I mean, we remember what happened with the Drifloon. Is it Drifloon? Ooh, or Drifloon. Yeah, this one here, Balloon Burst, 30 times the amount of damage on this Pokemon. So this didn't really, I mean, it threatened, but I don't remember it ever being played. So this might be just the next Drifloon. Or Drifloon. What did I, yeah, whatever. Okay, Gimmighoul evolves into the Cheese String. We'll get into that in a bit. Iron Valiant EX. Okay, so this, I think, is probably one of the most powerful EXs of the set. I think people will disagree with me here. Has a 220 HP, standard for a basic. It is the future type, so it's going to be able to take advantage of future type stuff. Tachyon Bits. Once during your turn, when you put this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may put 2 damage counts on one of your opponent's Pokemon. I actually thought it was put 2 on the opponent's active, and then we did some play testing. It turns out actually you can put it anywhere you want. That's kind of bonkers in my opinion. Now it does 3 energy, psychic, colorless, 200 damage during your next turn, and guess what? This Pokemon can't attack. 2 energy retreat cost. Weak to metal, because it is, I believe, a fairy type. I don't really know much about these Paradox Pokemon, to be honest. There's a lot to unpack with Iron Valiant, and I think the current build, if you like, is to play 4 of these with Rapid Strike, Urshifu, VMAX, and the Medicham V. Okay. Oh, same guy. Maldo EX sucks. Okay. Medicham. I need for EX. Jeez. Medicham V. That doesn't work. There it is. So Medicham V Yogaloop. Probably could have just mentioned it. So the idea here is you can go second and you can easily just set up loads of Tachyon Bit, retreat, attach the Rapid Strike energy, and then you can Yoga Loop, get another turn. And then from there you can get Gmax Rapid Flow, 120, 120, and just kind of clear the board. We did find in testing that actually it burns itself out super quickly, and it's not the most reliable, but I think it's quite well liked in Japan. I would like to see an Iron Valiant deck where you actually attack with Iron Valiant. 200, there is a tool card for future Pokemon, we'll get into it a bit, that does add 20 damage and free retreat to the Pokemon it's attached to. So makes Iron Valiant that little bit better. 3 energy, 220 on a basic, we've seen that before, but Tachyon Bits, just putting a little extra damage into play. I think the best is yet to come for Iron Valiant. I'm going to definitely try and get 4, just to make sure I've got for when that time comes. Anyway, Gliscor is never good. I'm not going to bother. Yeah, it's not very good either. We've seen the Garchomp. We've got a Mienshao. They're never good. +50 +70. Yeah. Hooper EX. So I did hit one of these. Someone was playing it in pre-release. It is Terra type. It is fighting. It requires Darkness Steel. Energy goes 50 times. This time it's 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon in play. Again, it's one of those where it's like, you know, do I really want to rely on what my opponent's doing? Is there ever going to be a situation? Is there ever going to be a situation where I want to tech a Hooper EX for the Gardevoir matchup? No, because it's got resistance, and if I'm playing Darkness Energy, it's weak Dark anyway. I just don't see a use for this. I mean, 3 energy, 200, this Pokemon can't use Scoundrel Fist next turn, oh dear. Yeah, I don't know. Minior is not worth talking about. Toxtricity EX, I'm going to say it now, it's probably not really worth talking about either, but we'll get into it. So it's another Terrestrial. 2 lightning energy, 70 damage, discard the top card of your opponent's deck, very annoying. 3 lightning energy, Gaia Punk, great name. 270 damage, discard 3 lightning energy from your Pokemon in play. So you're looking at it's essentially Mewtwo V-Star's attack, but not as versatile. So Mewtwo V-Star, Psy-Purge, discard up to 3 psychic energy from your Pokemon. It's up to 90 for each. So this is basically saying you have to discard 3 and do the 270. 270 is an irritating number. It's not knocking out the 280 V-Stars. Where does it go? How are you accelerating? Are you playing Flaffy? Why would you ever play this over Miraidon? If you're playing Flaffy, yeah, it just doesn't have a place. It's an interesting idea, but it has no place really in the format. Gargankle, guard your ankles. You may attach a basic fighting energy from your discard to one of your Pokemon if you do heal 30. That's quite cool, but it's stage 2. 300, 140, I don't really see it. Clorf. So Clorf is going to be the budget Pokemon deck for you this set. Hysterical Scissors, 30 plus damage. If this Pokemon is affected by special conditions, 160 more damage. So straight away you can do Spicy Curry. Oh, mate, this keyboard. There he is, Spicy Seasoned Curry. Your active Pokemon are burned, heal 40 from it. So you can just burn your Clorf if you want and hit for 190, but you're probably going to do double turbos with me 170. I believe there is other ways to create a special condition for this poor Clorf if you want to build the deck. Yeah, it's one of those fun ones. What does Flamigo do? 20 more for each of your bent. Yeah, no, not a lot. Slitherwing. Okay, this one is a big one, I think, for GLC. 2 fighting energy, 120 damage. Unfortunately, does do 90 to itself. You got to think about things like the karate belt, is it? The martial art dojo, all that sort of stuff. 200, 120. Yeah, you're usually going to ramp up that to, I think, like 160, something like that, off the top of my head. Pretty good for GLC. Pretty good indeed. But yeah, for standard, no good. Alright, Sandy Shocks EX is a weird one. So this is a Magneton. This is a past Pokemon, or ancient, excuse me. Now, if your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards remaining, you may attach a basic fighting energy from your discard to this Pokemon. So, kind of similar to Galarian Moltres V, but it only does 200 damage, but it can't attack its turn, doesn't damage itself. Yeah, I don't know. Let me just turn this off. I don't know if you can pick that up, but I actually have a dehumidifier on in the background. It's just been whirling away the whole time. I didn't even think about it. Let's move on. We've got Ting Lu. Yeah, it's not very good. We'll just move on. Could be good. Can it be good in GLC? Can you set up 3 fighting energy on this Pokemon before it gets any damage counters on it? Probably not. There is a new Crobat on the block. Choose item cards or support cards during opponent's next turn. They can't play either one you choose. Niche, kind of cute. Draw awareness. You may discard any number of cards you have, then draw cards. Is there going to be any sort of decks that's really going to take advantage of discarding? Could you play this in United Wings, like turn 1, just dump stuff? It's probably not even worth it. Liepard. Nope. Garbodor. Nope. Yveltal. Nope. Thievel. Nope. Morpeko. Nope. Lokix. Ooh. Oh, wow, okay, so you can't play this in GLC because there's no dark bugs, but this attack does 40 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. Ooh. 2 Dark Energy is hard to set up. Otherwise, could be cool. Let's just move on. Brute Bonnet is what you would, I believe, go with the Claw. So this is an Amoonguss, an ancient Amoonguss. Once you return for this Pokemon, is an ancient booster energy capture attached. You may make both active Pokemon poison. So you can poison your Claw instead of burning him. That's good. And your opponent's burnt as well, so they're going to take the extra 10 damage in between turns. Rampaging Hammer, 120 damage. Yeah, that's a bit of a meme deck. Could be funny though. Okay, Roaring Moon EX is a big one for this set. It's one of the bigger ones. Definitely a flagship, should we say, Pokemon of the set. This is an ancient Salamence. Frenzied Gouging. Nice. Knock out your opponent's active Pokemon. Yep, just knock them out. If your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out in this way, this Pokemon does 200 damage to itself. It's got 230 HP. You're going to put it down to 30 HP left. Yikes. But you do knock the opponent out for free. So you could do that to a VMAX Pokemon. Boom, go on, yeet it. 3 prizes. Pretty good. Second attack is also very good as well. It's Calamity Storm, 100 damage plus. You may discard a Stadium in play. If you do, this attack does 120 more damage. So 220 for 3. Take out Stadium. Yeah. It's aggro, it's strong, it can be powered up as well. Hint, hint. Let's go to our metal Pokemon. Must be getting close to the end now. Jeez. So I quite like this Steelix. One energy, 130 damage. This attack also does 30 to each of your bench. If you have 5 bench, you're actually going to do more damage to yourself than your opponent. Yeah. Here is Jirachi. So Jirachi is interesting. Attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon can't put damage counters on your benched Pokemon. So we were talking about, oh, that actually doesn't stop Cofagrigus. Okay, this pretty much is just designed to stop Sableye. The irony is that the only, other than possibly Charizard, the only other deck that you might want to tech this in is your own Lost Box deck for the mirror. So in trying to create a solid counter for Sableye, it's sort of almost just strengthened whomever is able to play it with Sableye. Funny enough, the irony, right? Doesn't this evolve again, Ferrothorn? I don't see it. Oh well, move on. Okay, Durant. So Durant goes really well with that Steelix. 20 damage times the amount of damage counters on all of your Durant. So if you can do 3 Earthquake and put 60 damage on, where's your Durant's gone? 6 damage on all Durants. Got 4 Durants, 4 times 6, 240 damage. Now we're talking. Busted deck. Absolutely busted. There is a new Aegislash EX. I'm just going to skip over it pretty quickly. It does 220 for 2 energy, but it does damage itself. It does 70 for each prize card you have taken. Now, it's like a weird Charizard, isn't it? It's like better but worse. I think it's just worse. Zacian, not even good for GLC. Okay, here's Skeledirge. Yes, we did see the previous versions of Skeledirge. Crocolore. Once during your turn, you may discard a Fire Energy card from your hand to use this ability. During your turn, attacks do 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So, yeah, it can ramp up some damage to Fire Energy 160. This damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. It can go through everything. This is an interesting tech card. We have seen this for a while, actually. This one was announced a long time ago. Stage 2 tech cards are tough, right? Not much more to say than that. Orthworm. This is not as good as the previous Orthworm from the last set, so we can just skip that one. Gholdengo EX is another potential flagship deck from this set. For those of you who aren't aware, this is the Cheese String. If you do not know what a Cheese String is, here you go. There's your Gholdengo right there, baby. The Cheese String. Cheese String man. I believe Cheese String came for, well, yeah, it definitely came before Gholdengo. Cheese String's been going on for years. But yeah, this is the Gholdengo Cheese String Pokemon. Once during your turn, draw a card. If this Pokemon is the Axport, draw 2. So he can draw cards for himself. He can also make it rain. So 50 damage times the amount of energy discard from your hand. So exactly the same attack as Blacephalon, but for 1 metal instead of 1 fire, 2 colours. And it is a stage 1 EX as well. Evolves from Gimmighoul. Yeah, interesting card. Has potential, who knows. Altaria EX doesn't have any potential. Move on. Tatsugiri. This is a dragon type Tatsugiri. Search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. You may switch Pokemon. Yeah, okay. Let's just bind. Let's just put it in the bin. Porygon Z. Once you're turning, you may flip a coin. If heads, you may choose up to 4 basic energy cards from discard pile and put them, attach them to this Pokemon. If tails, discard 1 energy from this Pokemon. Okay, so we're high rolling this. You could run this GLC if you've got Welder. You've got some fire energy. You got some this, got some that. Not much going standard though, I don't think. Anything for this Ambipom? Nope. Miltank? Nope. We've got new Exploud. They usually are not very good. Discard your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay. Funny little. Yeah. Do you know what though? Colorless control in GLC is very good, and I can see this attack actually, Sudden Shout, being quite useful in that. Spinder. So Spinder is an interesting. If this Pokemon's confused and receives damage, you may flip a coin. If heads, prevent the damage. This is like a baby Snorlax, isn't it? Like the 180 damage Snorlax. I don't think it's quite as good, but there you go. Yeah, I think Snorlax is better. Fun though. There's the Swablu. Tandemors. Oh my god. No, no, no. Alright, we've got stage 1, 230 HP EX Pokemon here. Ability. If this Pokemon is the active point, damage by opponent's attacks, but 3 damage counts on the attacking move for each of your Tandemos and Morshold, including EX in play. Okay, that's irritating. So get 4 of these in play. You could get more with Zorobox. So just say Sudden Transformation Zoroark. Put 8 down. Oh, sorry, 3 times. So yeah, that's gonna ramp up. You could be putting 12. You could be putting what's 3 times 6? 21. No, it's 18, isn't it? So you could be getting 18 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon every time you get attacked. 120 damage, draw 2 cards. What a meme deck. Oh, Bombardier EX as well. There's a lot of EXs. And most of them are garbage. Let's skip that. Cyclizar. This is also garbage. Iron Jugulars. Okay, so this is a future Pokemon, a future Hydreigon. This type does 50 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon that already have any damage cards on them. For 5 energy, 150 damage. If this Pokemon has a future boost energy capture attached, it only takes 3 energy. There is potential, I believe, for this card, but it will take time to see. I've been rushing because I want to get to the trainers. So we've got Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. This ancient Pokemon this card is attached to gets plus 60 HP, so we can already see how that works with Roaring Moon. Recovers from all special conditions, can't be affected by any special conditions. So there goes the Venomoth deck. So yeah, plus 60 HP for all ancient Pokemon. Counter Capture is a returning card from the past. If you are if you are losing, if you have more prize cards than your opponent, you just get a free Gust. Don't need to say much more than that. Pretty good, I think. I think this could actually bring counter Gardevoir back in, maybe without the Mewtwo V Union. I don't know, I'm just seeing it, but also potentially could be good for Zorobox as well. But really don't want an excuse to pull that out again. That's so stressful. Cursed Duster. This Pokemon is knocked out. The Pokemon's attached to. Discard a random card from opponent's hand. So there's just some more control juice here. Yay, just what we needed. Defiance Vest. If you're losing, your Pokemon take 40 less damage, so that could be super irritating for tanky Pokemon. Can you imagine trying to get through a Hisuian Guja V-Star with this thing on it? 120 damage minus. Jesus. Absolutely brutal. Earthen Vessel is a pretty busted card. This is essentially a double Professor's Letter, but you have to discard another card. So discard a card from your hand, search deck for up to 2 basic energy, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So this is going to be great for things like Shenpao, which don't have Capacious Bucket anymore. Of course, rip. But no, we've got Earthen Vessel now. Really good card. The fact that you discard a card as well actually almost makes it better. You know, Pokemon TCG, everything's kind of open. You've always got access to the discard piles, and there's a lot of cards that allow you to get things in and out of the discard pile. Yeah, very good card. Earthen Vessel. Definitely going to need to get a load of those for your decks. Future Booster Energy Capsule. The future Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost. and the attack it uses do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So Iron Jugglers could be hitting 50 to the active, could be hitting 170 damage to the opponent's active for 3 energy, and it's got free retreat. That Iron Valiant doing 220 damage now with it. Pretty good. Larry's bad. Let's just move on. Luxurious Cape. This non-rulebox Pokemon gets 100 more HP and it gains a prize card. So the maths here for things like GLC is pretty clear. You're going to be in a position where you're going to potentially be able to claim 2 to 3 prizes off of one Pokemon, whereas otherwise you might only get a 1-1 trade. So trading that 2 for 2 or 2 for 3 is either favorable or it balances itself out, and then it's also going to mean that you've got more time to set up more Pokemon to play. Don't know how effective it is for standard. Stick it on Elekid, why not? Give 130 HP. Can't get Ampy very much, so that's one thing, isn't it? Okay, Mela. You can only play this card if you're knocked out during opponent's last turn. A bit like Raihan, touch one basic fire energy and just compare to one of your Pokemon. Okay, it's very much like Raihan. If you do, draw cards to you have 16 hand. Okay, this is kind of. Yeah, it's going to give something to fire when Raihan is out, but right now Raihan's just better, isn't it? Yeah. Norman sucks. If your opponent's Pokemon active Pokemon has the extra 4 cards, yeah. Parasol Lady kind of sucks. Professor Sada's Vitality, or is it Sada? I'm going to go Sada. Professor Sada's Vitality, choose 2 of your ancient Pokemon and attach 1 basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. So this is the Roaring Moon now. So we've got Earthen Vessel discarding Dark Energy, Radiant Greninja discard another Dark Energy, Professor Zeta's Vitality, 2 Roaring Moon in play, slap a Darkness Energy on each of them, draw 3 cards. You've got Darkness Patch for another one, Manual Attack. You can easily get a turn 1 go and second Roaring Moon attack for 220 damage discarding a Stadium or an auto knockout. Professor Churo's Scenario is Mr. Briney's Compassion. I would love to show you the card, but I can't be bothered to even try and spell Briney. Oh, I can spell Compassion though, he says. Yeah, Mr. Briney's Compassion. Choose one of your Pokemon play, excluding EX, return the Pokemon cards attached to your hand. So, yeah, there is a better version of this sort of thing. Like this is one of them, Professor Churo's Scenario. Better than Penny as well. Discard all cards attached, so there's a bit of balance, bit of trade-off, but you can do it to evolve Pokemon, which is nice. Ooh, excuse me. Rika, look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put 2 of them in your hand. Okay, that's awful. Let's move on. That is awful. Also awful. Chantal, flip a coin. Nope. Snorlax Dull, I think, is not very good. I know people say that it has. I think some people have want it to be good, but if you can only play it if it's in your starting hand, and you can play it down as a active or a bench Pokemon. It has 120 HP. I don't think you get a prize card for knocking out, which is nice. You could use it for these early game technical machines, but are you really going to run one? Are you really going to run 4 just so you can start with it? I mean, I don't know. I think Ditto is just better. 151 Ditto. All right, we're getting into the technical machines. We've got 3 technical machines. They get discarded at the end of the turn, a bit like Ancient Technical Machine did back in the day. This one here, 3 colorless energy, blindside, 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon with any damage counters on it. That is just not good. That one goes straight in the bin. Devolution. So this is the same as ATM Rock. Devolve all of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card into their hand. Now, Spread can definitely utilize Technical Machine Devolution. Is there enough heal in the format to maybe not play this? Well, if it gets popular, if Spread gets popular, Radiant Serena could easily be put into a lot of decks. It's difficult to know. I think right now in the Pokemon TCG, it's probably just better to knock people out, knock out the people's Mons. Okay, we got Technical Machine Evolution. This is probably the best one. Just choose up to 2 of your bench Pokemon search deck for a card that evolves from each of those Pokemon. Put them into your hand. Put them in, not to your hand, to evolve them. So you can be looking for a turn 1, say Mew, Celebration of Mew active, Technical Machine Evolution onto 2 Ralts into a Kirlia. Turn 2, you've got Double Refinement, and then you can actually just naturally evolve into Gardevoir turn 2. you know, the potential's there for this to be a really good card, especially with Shopping Mall. I think where you can search your deck for a tool card. I think the tools right now in Pokemon TCG are just super powerful, and this is going to be right up there into the top. Turbo Energizer. I haven't actually searched up 2 basic energy, attach them to your bench Pokemon. Okay, so very similar to what Evolution's doing, but for energy, probably not as good. Techno Radar. Okay, yeah, this is busted. Discard another card from your hand, search your deck for 2 future Pokemon, and put them into your hands. This is double quick ball for future Pokemon. This is busted in my opinion. I think this is really good. Will it see play? Well, I think it probably should see play, but we'll have to see about that. Tulip sucks. Last but not least is Medical Energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon device colorless, when you attach this card from your hand, heal 30 from that Pokemon. This could be an addition to colorless Lugia. Otherwise, I don't really know where else this is going to go. Healing 30 though is pretty good. And we've got some character rares here. What is that? Wow, that's cool. There's a lot going on there. But yeah, that's freaking good as well. That's gonna just about do it for the full Paradox Rift set. Wow, these are going hard, aren't they? These rares, Jesus. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it, other than just me ranting on for Jesus an hour. Okay, let's wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. These are ugly. My God, I've seen one of these in real life. This is ugly. Just trade that away right now. I'll see you again next time. Have a great day. Goodbye.